The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host here at TFNN. Actually, the softest host at TFNN, as voted by a poll of DEN users. A 0.8 on the softness scale. Anyway, we go yet into the breach once again, dear friends, up 13 points on the S&P cash. 2.2 billion shares, so a little bit lighter than yesterday. But boy, did we have some heavy volume this morning. And I think it's burned itself out. I think we had, I was looking at 11 o'clock, I think we had like 1.6 billion shares already. And the push down just couldn't get any, after that, couldn't get any more volume. And just kind of evaporated. So now I think we've got what is a low volume test. And as always, I thought we're just going to kind of bounce around. We talked about the drunkard's walk. That is kind of going to go left and right and everywhere but exactly where we're headed for expiration next Friday and into the end of the year. But as far as I can tell, we're just going to stumble around like this all the way up until the end of the year. And a little bit of back and forth. And by the time it's all done, we're probably going to be at 2,100, 2,120, something like that. But that's it. Anyway, someone says the DEN capture looks very weird. I don't know what that means. Says this. Should just see what it normally does. The DEN camera looks weird. Well, I don't know what to say about that. Don't know what weird means. Could mean a lot of things. Anyway, back to the market, which is already in progress over most of TFNN.com. We're going to get into history in just a second. I did want to remind everybody that we've got the wonderful Tiger Dollar promotion going on between now and the end of the year. I know that there are a few people that have contacted me and wanted to get my newsletter. There's no better time to go ahead and get those Tiger Dollars and sign up for the Path of Least Resistance or the Tech Insider now, because I think we're going to have a huge year. Normally, you get this rule of alternation. In fact, tonight, I think we've got a webinar from Basil, and he's going to be talking about maybe a few of these things that's right up the line. I don't know if he talks a lot about the rule of alternation and what he's going to do tonight. Maybe he's in the den. But it is. He's in the studio. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Only seeing the bottom half of my charts. Okay. Let's see if I can't fix that while on the air. Okay. Off that. We'll put it back on. And then we'll turn back on this. Does that fix the problem? Basil's in the den. Yeah, I wonder if that, yep, he said, oh, it's butter. I wonder if Mr. Chapman says that he's going to cover the rule of alternation. He's typing now, so we'll get it in a second. Anyway, as I said, kind of an interesting day out here. Like I said, I think we're just going to stumble up. Yeah, he says he's going to cover the rule of alternation. But a pretty good rule out there, because I think a lot of people believe that from move to move in the market, major moves, that if it goes down real hard, then it's going to come up real hard. And normally, if you're choppy on the way down, then it's kind of a smooth and trend-like on the way back up. And if you're on the trend that's smooth, a lot of times when it breaks on the way up, then it's very choppy on the way down. And that's really my understanding of the rule of alternation. But pretty good. You can check out Basil's deal tonight, right after you go and sign up for those Tiger Dollars and get my newsletter. Just a humble plug for Basil, and then a backhanded plug for mine. Like I said, 2.2 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape, which is light if you don't take in the idea that what, 3/4 of that came in by 11:15. So you had a lot of volume and then nothing. And my thought is that there were a lot of people out here that are still wanting to get very short this market. And I think they'll have a rude awakening over the next couple weeks as they try to get out of these. And the only way to get out of them is to cover your shorts, which means that every time you do it, everybody else that's short has to cover theirs. And you get this rolling auction, albeit very slow, on the way up. In fact, I'm playing a couple of those to a day, one in each newsletter. I don't have a lot of money committed to my forces. I wanted to add some yesterday. We talked about that. But the premiums continue to kind of roll out. And that suggests to me that maybe we're going to have a couple of days next week with very low volatility and very little movement as we wait for the Fed. So I may not need to put on positions just yet, but we'll continue looking at them. But both the positions I have, both in the long term and the short term, are doing well today. And even though I have people from time to time in my newsletter that have a little bit of lack of faith, I kind of know what I'm doing in these short squeezes. And I think we're going to make some good money by the time it's over. Anyway, somebody's admitting it to guilt in the den. Anyway, we will change the name to protect the guilty. But of course, as every day, we come together at this time. It does. But we like to kick this show off with a little bit of history. On this day in 1941, the U.S. declares war on Japan. The S&P 500 nosedives, losing 3.23% and bringing its losses since Pearl Harbor to 7.5%. Now I hear no sound. Is that no sound for me, or no sound for the sound effect? No one ever types anything that you can actually figure out. I almost feel like I'm Barry Mason. He heard my voice, but he didn't hear the sound. Well, we'll fix that during the break. As we get going here. Anyway, U.S. declares war on Japan. I think we're probably going to see more and more stuff like this over the next year. It looks like the world's slowly spinning out of control, especially in the Mideast. And war is not good for anybody except the defense contractors. Probably the thing that I think about when I think about Pearl Harbor is at the ripe old age of about 2 or 3 months old, I moved to Hawaii and lived on the Hickam Air Force Base till I was about, I think, 7 or 8. Then we moved off base for 2 years. But I was able to stand on the doghouse in the backyard, although we didn't have a dog. For some reason, we had a doghouse all the time I was growing up. We actually had those little, what are those? Not groundhog things. We had those little furry animal things. But they resided in the doghouse. But if I stood on the doghouse, I could look over the fence and see the memorial out there for the Arizona, and ride my bicycle to the flight line and go put our fingers in the bullet holes of the hangars there on the flight line. Also, see all the people coming back from Vietnam and blown up, and piece together F-4 Phantoms. Always shot up. That seemed to be the plane du jour for that. But always remembered that kind of growing up, always seeing the Arizona Memorial, and the bullet holes and always thinking about it. But and that kind of is my link to it. But you got to think how really horrible they felt on those days. And, of course, off 7.5%. And they, we've had 9/11. There will probably be other times when we are attacked in the market. And as a trader, probably need to know how we've reacted in the past. My guess is that we react no different in the future. Did I ever get any U2 joyrides right? No, I did not. Although my brother got a ride in in a F5. He was 4 years older than me and could actually fit in it when my dad retired. Yep. He flew all the way down to where I used to live up north, which was about a 30-minute ride in the plane, maybe 20 minutes, inverted all the way down and all the way back, he said. So he had a good time. Anyway, as we need to get to the news out here, we will. Amazon is starting today in Manhattan. Will order delivery of beer, wine, and spirits in 1 hour throughout the company's Prime Now mobile app. The company just announced the 1 hour delivery costs $8. Why 2 hour delivery does not come with any extra fee. I'm calling this Amazon Get Bombed. If anybody remembers the pretty famous cover from Barron's in 2000. I think it was right around, was it late 1999 or 2000? I'll have to look it back up, but it was Amazon.bomb because everybody was sure the thing would go to zero. Did go to like 10% of the price when they actually posted that cover. But now I'm calling it Amazon Get Bombed. You don't even have to go to the local liquor store anymore. They will deliver it to you. I wonder how many people are just going to stay perpetually drunk because they now don't even have to leave the house. Yeah, I guess they won't have to drive there, which would be it. Anyway, $99 a year for the Prime, and you get all your liquor delivered free. Can grass be far behind in Amazon's wheelhouse? Anyway, the U.S. government approved genetically modified chicken yesterday. I'm looking for our friend and commodity broker, Andrew Heck, to get in on this maybe later in the show. Of course, its purpose is to make drugs and not have in its eggs and not use them. But I think I'm going to be the first person out there to start the rumor that these genetically modified chickens actually taste far superior to the regular free-range chickens. We'll see how far we can move this hoax along in the coming months. But you heard it here first. Anyway, the new drug, but I think we are in a brave new world. Several drugs already being used in modified rats and chickens and other animals. But it seems like every day there's a new news article about this. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Page, Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
As we are back, kind of interesting article about Bitcoin. I know we handle the technology section, or at least I do here at TFNN. And it is now, I've got some kind of problem. I'm going to have to reboot during the break. Everything's really messed up. I don't know what it is, but Skype has not been working well for us lately. Anyway, Bitcoin, maybe 6 months ago, they were talking about that they'd found the gentleman that actually had made Bitcoin, had designed it, and he was always used a synonym, and they thought that they had caught him. And of course, all they did was ruin some poor guy's life. He didn't end up being the guy. I'm sure there's lawsuits going off. Well, all the people at Hacked and Wired and Gizmodo are now after yet another guy, and it looks like they messed up yet again. His house was raided by Australian authorities over the last couple of days, and guess what? It's exactly the same thing. They all believed it was him until they started figuring stuff out and found out that all the evidence they have was signed with technology that didn't come after at least 2 or 3 years after Bitcoin actually was founded. And the idea is that they think that the original controller of Bitcoin is the guy that has about 1 million Bitcoins to begin with. He was the first one in the blockchain, and that's it. But if you don't think the governments hate Bitcoin, every time one of these people has been accused of it, the government and everybody from the media has been all over these guys, and that is not a little different, but that's it. But Mr. Mr. Global, okay, but kind of interesting. But yeah, ready, fire, aim. Apparently, but anyway, this guy, I guess, has enough cash. He's a multimillionaire in Australia, so I think he has enough money to probably defend himself. But literally 1 or 2 days after this article comes out, the full attack force of Australia comes down to raid this guy's house and take everything he has and computers and everything else. And I don't know if they arrested him or detained him. The facts are a little bit cloudy now, other than the fact that they came down on him like a ton of lead. And this has now happened twice. But at least everybody is saying not so fast now. It looks to me like the guy that actually designed Bitcoin was a lot smarter than the people that think that they can find him. And it continues on. It is a mad market. And apparently a mad internet that doesn't like me today, or maybe something that's happened out here. I'm not exactly sure, but Skype has been kind of flaky here for me for the last couple of days. So we will come back and we'll reboot. Anyway, market has been going up, and there are a few things out here that tend to make me want to think that there is not much Krampus and a lot more St. Nick coming in. We are up 17 points on the S&P cash, 2.32 billion shares, but the volume is light. I think we can kind of just have this kind of up maybe 5 or 10 points every day between now and the Fed announcement. Maybe have a kind of a little blow off top on the Fed next Wednesday at 2. So we've got 4 trading days or something like that. But anyway, dollar index is up 62, and of course, commodities not doing a great deal for anybody out here. Gold off $5 again today. We've got the DAX. It was just a little bit more than flat. So not a lot happening over there in Europe. And of course, when we look at crude out here, still off 33 cents. And going to be very interesting tomorrow as we come in to the close. Last week, we saw people buying gold as the fear trade going into the weekend. And what did they do when they came back Monday? They sold it instantly. And that's been kind of a trade that you could have gotten on if you were a short-term trader, which for months was buy crude probably Friday morning and sell it right before the close of the day, because they were buying it. And when nothing happened, they sold it first thing Monday morning. It was probably generally a pretty good trade out of that. Of course, if anything bad happened, that would have been much different for you. But the fear trade is going to be telling us a great deal tomorrow. That is, do they buy gold or do they buy crude for a problem going into this weekend? I'm going to reboot, and I will be back after these messages.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
It's true. Life is all about choices. At Everbank, they're making it easy for you to make a smart one with this special cash offer. Open a new yield pledge money market account with funds from another financial institution, or deposit new funds into an existing yield pledge money market account, and you could earn up to a $500 cash reward. And if you're opening a new account, you'll also get their new higher 6-month bonus interest rate, along with their yield pledge promise that ensures your yield will always be in the top 5% of competitive accounts at banks nationwide. Open a new account or add to one. It's your choice. To qualify, you must meet balance and other limited time offer requirements. Go to everbank.com/TFNN for details and deposit options, or speak with one of their banking specialists at 1-855-750-4051 for more information. You must act by December 31st, 2015 to be eligible. Everbank is a member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. And don't you love Windows 10 where you can reboot and actually get back in just a matter of seconds instead of my old Windows 7, I think, took about a minute and a half to boot. Anyway, we were talking yesterday about backing up computers. I'm going to take just a minute because I had a lot of people ask me about what I do. There are these carriers you can buy. In fact, I bought one yesterday for about $15, and it will actually take 2 of these carriers, and I'm showing you here on Tiger TV. And what these carriers do is allow you to open them up, and you just drop your SSD drive in there. They make these carriers for other things too. You just put them in there, and you can slide them in, take them out, put them in the safe overnight, or even have multiple operating systems, which is what I do. I have a Ubuntu drive. I've got a Windows 7 drive. I've got 2 Windows 10 drives where I've got them rated out. Then, of course, I've got a backup drive in that machine, and I back up all the time. People ask me also what I use to back up. And if you're a trader and, of course, you depend on your computer, you should always make sure that you keep all the patches up to date. But at the same time, if one of those patches don't work, you need to be able to go back to what you had before. So you probably want to use something that's called Acronis. Let me find it here. And here it is. So we'll see it pop up on my screen here. It should pop up on the center screen, I think. Where's that? Come on, there we go. Anyway, if you're looking for something, I think they got a deal on it between now and Christmas. I've just used it for a long time. There is a backup that comes with Windows 10. But do yourself a favor. Back everything up and think about your technology a little bit. Like I said, I kind of really liking Windows 10. If you've got an old PC, probably not so great. If you've got a new one, pretty good. The only problem I had lately is of course, a problem with Skype, which I think is from Microsoft and one of their messed up little deals. I can always tell when Skype's not working correctly or it's messed up the machine because the audio coming back from TFNN is way too loud. I should just go ahead and reboot then instead of doing anything else. Question of our engineer, it's a disk cloner, right? It will clone the drive and make a mirror image of it, but it doesn't have to copy the unused space. So I have about 120 gigabytes of stuff on my drives. The backup's about 49 gigabytes. So actually, I was showing my thumb drive yesterday, and that's not illegal in this state. Anyways, you can put, I've got everything on thumb drives. I've got extra drives. I've got drives at the wazoo. Anyway, make sure and back up and keep your machine maintained. Don't be the guy on the side of the road who never changed his oil. Anyway, now that we're going to get to some other stuff in the meantime during the break, and we're up 16.5 points. Like I said, volume continues to be rather light and has been since the downside kind of burnt out of volume. Not much after, kind of after 11. Anyway, I think we're still going to see this kind of chop up 15 points, down 15 points, that kind of stuff. But I suspect that the big volume is probably over now until we see the FOMC meeting at 2 o'clock, which will be the start of this show on next Wednesday. Is your drive old enough to drive its drive? Okay. Everybody's getting a little punchy in the den, I think. Anyway, dollar index up 61 cents. And I think Andy's call that maybe there's a lot of manipulation in these Forex markets right now from the governments, I think, kind of ringing true. Doesn't really seem to be any kind of reason or rhyme for some of the bigger moves of the last few days other than intervention. And again, there is no country big enough to control its currency over a long term. You can change it during the short term, but eventually the market will prevail. Even here in the U.S., the zero interest policy will come back to reality at one point, whether or not you just can't get the same high off the amount of monetary heroin that the Fed has been pumping on the market continues to be a little bit different. Anyway, I wanted to get to some other stocks that really had been moving out here and seeing if we can get anything out of them. The first one is one I've been telling you that is a horrible business, FSLR, and of course only exists because of green checks. My guess, the problem is this thing is just massively shorted all the time, and I don't want to be short a stock like this just in case they literally lie about maybe earnings or some new contract. I can't see any scenario where people are going to pay a great deal, maybe 4 times what it would cost to get the electricity from the local electric company. Now that most of the federal incentives are gone, and even places like New Jersey and others that were giving a huge amount of subsidies, and you can just read that as asking all your neighbors to pay for your electricity. Well, just say what it is. Beautiful socialism in all its glory. But it is down on heavy volume today. And, you had let me find my mouse here. You had that day when it gapped up, and that was some news back on the 30th of October. But it was at 6.6 million shares. We already have 5.1 million shares. So my guess is that we are going to get that. And this is going to start the big demise of the solar companies last year. And of course, as I say, there's nothing new. This cycle, it is one party all going after alternative energy in the solar sector. And of course, 8 years ago, it was everybody playing the fuel cells. and they're all down at $1 or $2. I don't see that unless something majorly happens in solar cells, i.e., they get competitive with any kind of fossil fuels, including natural gas or nuclear power. It's very hard to see how these things ever pay off. And we've gone through all the reasons why. But what else do we have out here? Oh, that's the first one. And of course, that was on earnings. What else do we have out here? Sienna had earnings out before the bell this morning. And, talk about a bad day to have bad earnings and, of course, a lot of pressure in the market. This thing gapped right down to its previous low, which was the September 29th low at $20.03. This went below it. It's got 20 million shares. This is the kind of time where maybe this thing doesn't go lower anytime soon, but my guess is that over time, it's going to go back into this huge gap that's between 17 and $18, and that goes back to the 11th of December 2014. So almost a year ago, where this thing actually gapped up, started all this movement out here. Now, last time you got into this low was August 24th. It came in there with higher volume than previous time, which was February 2nd of 2015, that had 2.9 million shares. So you basically came into it with 33% more volume on August 24th and knew that is probably eventually, mostly within 6 months. I think about 80% of the time, these high volume lows get filled within about 6 months, but that is it. Yep, just a nice grind. Anyway, what else do we have out here? GoPro. We've been talking about a lot of people being short these stocks, waiting way too long. There's that guy at the party that just is the last one there every time. Don't be that guy. Just don't be him. And that's exactly what you have out here in GoPro. Now, the one thing that would make me say maybe this is a little different is that you have two massive gap downs. But if you just a little bit farther back, you could almost make the case that the first massive gap down was back here on the October 9th of 2014. And it is, as far as I can tell, on volume, it had all the characteristics. When Tom talks a lot of coming down on volume, this thing rallied off the 98.47 all-time high. But you had 8 million shares and 13 million shares just the day after those. So you had kind of the little blow off top. And this is where I say that no matter how much a stock is going down, sometime there is no play to be had. That's where they were asking 15 to 17 bucks more to short the stock. So literally it had to go down from what, 98 bucks to 80 bucks before you even broke even on the trade. And they were only going out like 90 days. So they were horrible bets to be had on GoPro, but sometimes that's all you get. The thing has been perpetually shorted out the wazoo since then. And, but this is where you get these days, especially in these stocks that have way too much short interest, and they start bouncing back up. Now, this one literally could have a bounce into 30 bucks by next Friday, and I would not be surprised. I'm not forecasting it, but there are so many people short on this thing that if news comes out that's very good on this, in fact, you started to see a little news today. I don't think anybody's been really talking about it, but they have their drone that they're going to come out, and I guess all the cameras are built into the drone, so it's not like this thing's holding a camera outside the body of the drone. This thing is going to be kind of a combination drone and camera flying body. And if I'm not mistaken, this is also going to have those cantilevered props. And the big deal on that is if you can think where you've seen these drones where they have basically 4 propellers, one on each corner. Think of a drone having 8. And what they do is actually take each pair on each corner and kind of tilt them in a little bit. and it makes a incredibly stable platform for drones and for video. And my guess is that I saw somebody buy up the patent for that last year, and I always suspected it was GoPro. No one ever disclosed who it was for, but that is my at least bet out here. And it's not going to be available to January, so it doesn't make the Christmas season. So you may have a lot of people getting in front of this, in front of the news for January when they show this new drone off. But like I said, watch this one closely. I don't know if I could have the faith to go home overnight on this long, but if you're watching it intraday, do not be surprised if this thing starts ripping very quickly. And you got a lot of people on the short side of this thing. My guess is that you've got somewhere between 35 and 40% short on this thing right now. Okay. What else did I want to look at? We looked at First Solar. We looked at Sienna. We looked at GoPro. Take a quick look at CMG. Of course, I was talking to Andy yesterday. We were talking about the rare event and maybe a rare event in crude coming up. And one of the things that I passed along to him in our typing conversation was a quote from Jesse Livermore, and that is, when severe and total demoralization comes along, it's time to cover your shorts. And I think probably that's what we had. News is probably about as bad as you're going to get on CMG. And like I said, this is where you start seeing these rips. I mean, this thing went from 515 to 579 today. Pretty good inter-week trading range. I can't say that I'm a good enough trader that I would have caught any of this, but I would have suspected it was going to be out there. But what we've seen here, right here, over the last couple of days, is something that I think you could see in many stocks coming into next week. Just make sure, as we've been saying the last few days, be very sure of what the short interest is on the stock that you're playing. If everybody's been piling onto these things, you have a good chance of losing an eye or a leg if you continue to be short these into next week. Probably the stock that a lot of people haven't thought about may be the ones you want to be looking at now. And let's see. Wanted to get some email. I'll bring my email up during the break. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. You can also call in at 877-927-6648 or post a message in the den. And, of course, before doing all of that, you want to go to the front page of TFNN and sign up for those Tiger Dollar deals so that you can participate in my newsletter for all of next year. Get a good deal on them. What else? There was a CMG Tree. I didn't look at that yet. We'll get started here and then follow up with Tree after the break. Wisdom Tree out here. Again, not a bad place to be out here buying some of these lows. I wish this thing would have gone a little bit lower. I could have maybe looked at buying this. It gapped up on August 4th of 2015 with 1.3 million shares. Got back into it with 300,000 shares on October 1st. And yesterday, 360,000 shares. Not a bad Wyckoff pattern. Down this far, I would have had to wait until this thing got to about 85 again to pull the trigger. We'll be back in a minute. Make sure and email me at path@tfnn.com.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry, powered by the acclaimed TAS TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And if you've been listening for a while, we were talking about CMG as we went into the bell, but what I want to talk about is, and we've talked about it over the last week or so, as I've been working on this new tool to show actually daily short volume in stocks. And I've got it up and working now, and we talked about that last week. But one of the things I've talked about is the almost Pavlovian response to short the living daylights out of a stock right before it starts bouncing. And of course, once you short, all those shares have to be covered, even if the short value is not all that exciting. But doesn't mean that it lasts forever. But again, shorts are probably the weakest hand in any party, and as soon as things start moving out, you should look back. But I've been looking at, I probably got about 1,000 charts I've looked at and studied now where I can see literally the short volume every single day on every single stock in the stock market. And if, just so you know, I want to point my little pointer right there next to the short volume, so you don't confuse this with a regular chart. In fact, I'll pop up the regular chart out here with this. So here's well, let's go to that CMG. Let's take a look at the regular chart with the regular volume of the last few days, and you'll see that, a ton of volume. But what happens almost always, it seems almost Pavlovian, is the desire to short these things at the bottom. And I don't know if it's the retail people piling on or just all the news. A lot of people say sell the news, right? Well, a lot of people like to short the news. And what we had was some huge short volume out here on the December 7th day when this thing went down to 515. And normally when you get that, the next few couple of days, the people, let me put it this way. The people that are pretty good shorters are not shorting out here at the bottom when the thing looks like the wheel's going to fall off the wagon. They were shorting much higher out here. And they have a tendency to be covering why everybody else is shorting and shorting why everybody else is covering. So normally that's why I never follow any of these stocks down. If you're not only, maybe you're trading this thing for 2 hours or 3 hours, maybe that's a different story. But pretty good indication that when everybody starts piling into the short side, you want to be the guy on the opposite side of that trade for the next couple of days, because it almost always leads to some kind of significant bounce out here in the market. Now, Chipotle, does the chart look horrible? Absolutely. But probably the worst thing is trying to short this thing at 515 and having to ride it to 560. If you were going to short this thing, maybe 590 when it was back up here. But look what was happening back there at 589. This is the short chart out here. So we know how many people and how many shares were shorted on that single day. But on that day, 175,000 shares. So no one's short up here at the top, but they have to pile in down here at the bottom when it hits at 515 with 863,000 shares short that day. And that's kind of my thing out here, is that if everybody gets fairly, we talked about that earlier in the show, when everybody gets depressed, when everybody gets despondent, watch out. Normally, that's when you get these vicious counter moves in short stocks, and that's what I've been kind of talking about the last few days. I think we're going to get a lot more of that in the coming week and throughout the end of the year. But what does that set up? Like today, kind of lighter volume a lot of times in these stocks as they come back up. And there, you can catch the next ABC down if you want to, but just don't short bottoms. Anyway, hang on for Tom O'Brien and the one and only Andy Heck after that. Have a great day. So when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat day.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.